Hey guys, it's your girl Keisha C, and you're currently tuning in to Getting Through. So I know you guys probably missed my beautiful face. Nothing personal, self-evaluation. I just been doing some, cleaning house for myself and just trying to get some direction. So I just finished up 21 days of prayer and fasting. Let me tell you, that's probably one of the best things that I've done all year. And I was fully committed. I mean, waking up every morning for 6 o'clock prayer. I ain't miss a beat, y'all. But, spiritually and, me being truly intentional with my purpose and my walk with God, I had to stay committed. Like, that was a promise that I made to myself. And, something that I did with God because, I honestly wanted to hear from him in a lot of areas. So, he did the do. He did a work in me. And so I don't know like all my followers and what your spiritual beliefs are, but for me it was everything that I needed. So like with fast comes change. And so I want to speak to the people who are changing right now. And when I say changing, you changing for the better. And you're wanting to be better, and you're wanting to understand your past, but you're wanting to be able to take your past and use it for your good to better yourself. Understand that people are going to try to cripple you. It's gonna be people who are gonna try to do things to make you be reminded of your past. It's gonna be people who try to tempt you to fall back and backslide into your past. And I say don't let them. Like, that was who you was, not who you are now, and not who you're going to be. And I'm always transparent and I'm always true. So I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. So for me, for 9 years I struggled with being bisexual. I struggled with, dating girls, if this was for me, if this wasn't for me. And to this day, I still have people who, try to tempt me, try to waver me into trying to see like, oh, that was Keisha, that's gonna forever be Keisha. Or, oh, she was like that and then she stopped being like that, but then she went back. So the me that I am now and the person that I'm growing to be is, I've asked for forgiveness for a lot of things that, I've done in my past, that being one of them. But I also knew what I shouldn't have been doing and what I should have been doing. And so when I decided to make the full step and being all in about God, I was contradicting myself to a point where like I was feeling like, well, God know my heart, so it's okay for me to do this. Or, feeling like, oh, well, I'm going to do this because even though I'm doing all of this right, he died for my sins, so this is okay. But over time, I was convicted within myself of knowing the right thing to do and still being rebellious to do the wrong thing because it felt right. And don't get me wrong, because I'm not knocking anyone who considers their self to be bisexual, homosexual, transgender, anything. Let me tell you, I love everybody. I love all y'all. So I'm not judging, and I ask that you judge me not. I'm just speaking for myself. So I made a change in that. And when I did, some people still wanted me to be like that. And when I say some people still wanted me to be like that, like guys who would text me or try to talk to me, they'd be like, oh, you still talk to girls? Oh, you still interested in girls? I'm like, no. And I would really be defensive. Like, it would literally tee me off. And when I say tee me off, piss me off, because it's like, that's not who I am. That's who I used to be. And it would get under my skin a little bit. It would bother me. Imagine being addicted to a drug and you free from that, but you're constantly reminded of how you used to be an addict. Or someone is constantly in your face like, you don't want to hit this, you don't want to shoot up. And it's like, I already told you I don't do it no more. Like, why are you trying to continue to convey or put it on me? And I had to get a perspective of knowing like the devil is gonna tempt you regardless of how much you change your life. You could go to the end of the world and back to change your life, and it's still gonna be temptation that's gonna arise, that's gonna tempt you, that's gonna try to come at you. I've learned that in my 21 days of prayer and fasting, I've learned that that's who I was. That's not who I am. And that's not who I'm going to be. When I made the executive decision with myself that I was going to make changes in my life, it wasn't for anybody else to understand. It wasn't for anybody else to be like, oh, well, that's who you are. That's who you gonna always be. So I want y'all to understand this. Just because that's who you was doesn't mean that's who you gonna always be. When you make a intentional decision that you want to be someone different, that you want to be better, that you want to change, guess what? It's going to happen as long as you intentionally want to do that in your heart. When you grow and you mature in areas, everybody ain't going to be acceptive of it. And you have to be okay with that. Some people are going to always see you how they always see you, and you're going to have to be okay with that. You're going to have to know how to be You're going to have to know how to not be distracted, not feel like you have to defend yourself, and not feeling like for the reason of you having to defend yourself, they're distracting you from whatever God has in the path for you. Because check this, if someone was coming at me and I knew, prime example, like I know I don't talk to girls no more. I know that. God know that. That's all. To me, that's all that matters. But you could be in a season right now that you're wavering to a point where you want to change, but people are declaring things over your life and speaking it, and it's almost like you can't change because you feel trapped, and you almost pretty much are telling yourself, well, if they say this is who I am, this is who I am. And wrong, period. If you say you're not no addict no more, guess what? You're not no addict no more. If you say you're not gay no more, guess what? You're not gay no more. If you say that you're not no alcoholic no more, guess what? You're not. When you make the steps to change who you are, don't let anybody stunt your development. Because someone who loves you is going to support you in your change. They're going to encourage you. They're going to lift you up. They're going to speak and declare things over your life that you're declaring over your life. Anybody who constantly reminds you of who you used to be is someone you don't need to be with. Whether it's friends, family, foe, whatever you want to call them, whatever category they fall in. Anybody who doesn't see your development, and I can move it from, us talking about addictions and alcohol and sexuality, and I can move it to your workplace, at your job. If you surround yourself with people who aren't trying to grow and develop and are constantly complaining, constantly talking about the supervisor, the boss, this, that, they don't have no sense of development. They're not trying to be better. They're not trying to move up. They only see things one-sided. Every time you come in, it's something negative. They don't see change. They don't agree to change. They don't like change. Those are people that you want to stay far away from. And even if you can't distance yourself from that, be the aura of positive energy. Be the one that say, okay, well, I understand it's like this, but this is what we can do to change it. Be the person who says, okay, so I understood that's what you struggle with, but I see how you're trying to be better. Let me help you in this area to be better. You'll be surprised how people will sit at the same table as you and ain't happy that you at the table. You'll be surprised how many people are eating with you and ain't happy that you got food on your plate. You have to learn how to distinguish the difference. And you have to understand who you are. You have to be confident and strong in who you want to be, who you inspire to be, where you decide to go. Like, you have to be comfortable with that. Because at the end of the day, our worst enemy is the enemy in us. Our worst enemy is us. So if you're changing and you're easily persuaded by what people want to say how you were or how you used to be, and you allow them to get into your head, you've allowed them to defeat you of who you are. Yeah, that's who I was. That's not who I am. Like, prime example, I got 2 kids, 2 baby daddies, and I've talked about this on my channel before. And some people might still feel like that's who I am. Let me tell y'all something. Keisha is not a baby mama. You are not a baby mama. You are not a baby daddy. Guess what? I'm a wife. And I will be a wife, because guess what? That's what I declare over my life. That's what I want to be. So at the end of the day, regardless of how anybody sees me, that's not how I see myself. So regardless of if anybody feels that way, you only are who you answer to. So if you stop picking up, guess what? You can hear who you are within yourself. So I say that change. If you're changing and you're changing for the better, continue to change. Everybody won't like your change. Everybody won't agree to your change. But if it's something that you're doing that's going to better you, that's going to make you better, that's going to help you grow, help you mature, continue to do that. Don't allow the weight of the world and how they view you allow you to look in the mirror and view yourself the same way. Because ain't nobody out here being real, telling you they true colors. Ain't nobody out here unmasking, giving you they struggles. So don't be so caught up in, what you see, what you hear other people doing. Ain't nobody posting their failures. So my whole thing is like, I don't mind being transparent. I don't mind telling my business. I don't mind spilling it, because guess what? Nobody can use that against me, because I've grown and I've matured. So this is for my people who feel like, I'm trying to change, but it just seems like every time I change, people just keep reminding me of who I used to be, what I used to do. If you was a drug addict, so what? I was a drug addict, but guess what? I'm not no more. If you was a stripper, or if you sold your body, so what? I used to be a prostitute, and that's who I was. But I did that for whatever reason. God, guess what? God can use your story to save anybody. God can use your story to be a testimony to bring somebody closer to Him. So he want the sinners. He don't want the saints. So don't be confused by your failures or the areas that you felt like you lacked in. Trust me, he got a place and a time for all of us. And it's up to you to want to change. And regardless of anybody's opinions about you, regardless of how anybody feel about you, regardless of what anybody say about you, all that matters is what you say about yourself. So trust you. Love you. If you love you enough, it don't even matter what the world say about you. If you know that God loves you for you, it doesn't matter what the world says about you. Surround yourself with people that's going to uplift you, encourage you, motivate you, push you, who's going to constantly let you know, and declare positive things over your life. When you surround yourself with people like that, life comes a little bit easier. It gets a little bit better. And of course, temptation's going to come. People going to come. But you have to understand and know how to weave it out. And know that, you know what? You said that, but you're right. I did. I did used to turn tricks. But I ain't turning tricks no more. This is what I'm doing now. So guess what? You can love me for who I was. And if that's who the person you love, then you need to go find that person, because that's not me no more. Or you can hop on this bandwagon and get with the person that I've grown to be. And either they going to respect it or they going to get lost. People will fall off. You don't have to do anything. Trust me. The moment that they see that you're getting ahead of them, either they gonna hop on and join the ride, or guess what? They gonna fall off. So just trust your timing. Trust what you want to do for yourself. And, you know, allow yourself to be new. Every morning we wake up, guess what? It's a new day. It's a new chance to be a better you. So allow yourself to be new every day. And if you want to be better, guess what? You're going to be better. And if you want to change, guess what? You're going to change. And don't let nobody waver that. Again, this your girl, Keisha C, tuning in to Getting Through.